Operation Pig Bristle was an unusual transport task conducted by the RAAF, also known as the Royal Australian Air Force, in May 1946. The operation was ordered by the Australian government in response to a national shortage of paintbrushes, which was hindering house building efforts. The 38th Squadron of the RAAF was given the task of flying 25 tons of pig bristles from Chongqing, China, to Hong Kong, where the bristles were to be shipped to Australia. The operation took place during the Chinese Civil War, with Chongqing cut off and at risk of capture by the Communist forces. The squadron completed this task over a 2-week period without loss. Following World War II, the Australian Commonwealth and state governments launched a joint Commonwealth housing scheme to address a national shortage of accommodation. This scheme and private sector house building activities were delayed by a shortage of materials, including pig bristles needed to manufacture paintbrushes. At the time, the only available source of pig bristles was China. In 1946, the company Jardine Matheson acquired 100 tonnes of bristles for the British government and a further 25 tonnes for Australia from remote locations in China near the border with Tibet. 3 stocks were transported to Chongqing, the capital of the Kuomintang government, and Jardine Matheson eventually gained permission to export them to Australia and Britain. This supply of bristles would be sufficient to meet Australia's needs for several months. As the Chinese Civil War was raging at the time, the Communist forces were attacking riverboats travelling from Chongqing. It was judged necessary to transport the pig bristles from the city by air. The Kuomintang government agreed to allow the RAAF and the RAF aircraft to fly return flights between Hong Kong and Chongqing between the 1st and 14th of May only. After arriving in Hong Kong, the bristles would be shipped to Australia by sea. Both the Kuomintang government and the Chinese Communists were concerned about the presence of foreigners in China, and the Australian air crews were warned that they would be imprisoned if they landed anywhere other than Chongqing or an emergency strip in Canton. Squadron number 38 was selected to transport Australia's share of the bristles. This squadron was equipped with Douglas Dakota aircraft and was responsible at the time for conducting regular flights from Australia to Japan, carrying personnel and supplies for the Australian element of the British Commonwealth Occupation Force. A detachment of 3 Dakotas led by the 38th Squadron's commanding officer, Squadron Leader John Balfe, was sent from Australia to Hong Kong in preparation for the task, as flying conditions were expected to be difficult. Each of these aircraft were manned by 2 highly experienced pilots, as well as other airmen who performed duties as navigator, radio operator, or flight engineer. The flights from Hong Kong to Chongqing began in early May 1946. At this time, Chongqing had been isolated by communist forces and foreign embassies were being evacuated from the city, ahead of its expected occupation by the communists. No navigation aids were available to guide the Australian aircraft, and their crews had to use inaccurate road maps for navigation during the 1,100-kilometre trip between Chongqing and Hong Kong. The RAAF air crew found the flights between Hong Kong and Chongqing to be challenging as a result of mountains around the Chinese city, as well as the expected lack of weather forecasts and navigation aids. As the Australian legation was evacuated from Chongqing in early May, the RAAF crew slept at the British Embassy when they needed to overnight in the city. The detachment was successful in flying in and out pig bristles within 2 weeks available, with 8 return flights being made to Chongqing. In his memoirs, Balfe attributed this success to reasonable weather and everybody's enthusiasm. After completing their task, the 3 Dakotas left Hong Kong, bound for Australia, on the 14th of May. One of the pilots involved in Operation Pig Bristle received an Air Force Cross in the 1948 New Year's Honours in recognition of his role in the operation. The RAAF official historian Alan Stevenson wrote in 1995 that John Balfe's brief but thrilling account of his team's exotic adventure should be mandatory reading in every RAAF air transport crew room. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Unfortunately, there weren't very many photos on this Operation Pig Bristle, but I'm looking forward to uploading more videos to YouTube about history, especially Australian history. So I will catch you on the next video.